You know what the hardest thing in the world is? It's not failure. It's not heartbreak. It's rejection. Rejection cuts deep. It shakes your confidence. It whispers that you're not enough. It tempts you to question your value. But listen to me. Rejection is not the end. It's a redirection. It's life saying, you deserve better than what you're settling for. Let's talk about 6 truths that will change the way you see yourself forever. You know what the hardest thing in the world is? It's not failure. It's not heartbreak. It's rejection. Rejection burns in a way that feels personal. It makes you question your worth, your choices, your direction. It takes confidence, that bright fire inside you, and tries to blow it out with a single breath of doubt. But rejection isn't the enemy. It's the truth teller. It's the universe removing what's not aligned with who you are. It's not the door slamming in your face. It's the hallway guiding you to the one that actually opens. The pain of rejection is temporary, but the strength you build from it, that stays forever. Most people run from rejection. They label it as failure, as humiliation. But what if you saw it differently? What if you looked rejection in the eye and said, thank you for showing me what's not mine? Because sometimes what doesn't choose you is saving you. That job that turned you down, maybe it wasn't where your voice could rise. That person who walked away, maybe they didn't have the capacity to love you in your entirety. That moment that crushed you, maybe it was shaping you. The truth is, rejection doesn't break you. It refines you. It scrapes away the parts of you that seek validation and builds the part of you that knows how to stand alone. When you accept rejection, you reclaim power. Because now you're no longer begging life to go your way. You're learning to walk your own. There's a quiet dignity in accepting what's not meant for you. It's not resignation, it's wisdom. Acceptance doesn't mean you stop trying. It means you stop forcing. It's choosing peace over desperation, purpose over pity. Every no becomes a redirection to a yes that actually fits. You start realizing that not every door is supposed to open. Not every hand is meant to hold yours. Not every path is meant to be walked twice. And when you understand that, rejection becomes your teacher, not your trauma. Think about it. Some of your greatest growth didn't come from moments you were loved. It came from moments you were left. Rejection strips away the illusions. It shows you who's truly there for you and who's only there when you're convenient. It teaches you to sit in silence and listen to your own voice again. When you stop chasing acceptance, you start finding authenticity, because the world doesn't reward the person who tries to please everyone. It rewards the one who stands firm in who they are, the one who can say, I may not be your choice, but I am my own. That's power, that's presence, that's freedom. And I know it hurts. Rejection hurts like hell. It's raw, it's personal. It can make you want to shrink, hide, disappear, but don't. Feel it. Don't rush to bury it or pretend it doesn't matter. Sit with it. Let the sting remind you that you were brave enough to risk being seen. That's what most people never do. Most people stay safe, small, unseen, because they fear rejection more than they desire growth. But not you. You dared. And because you dared, you're already ahead. Rejection means you showed up. And showing up is the first act of power. You can't be chosen if you never show up. You can't win if you never try. You can't rise if you're afraid to fall. Rejection is proof that you are in the arena, not watching from the sidelines. Here's what they don't tell you. Rejection doesn't just shape your destiny. It defines your character. How you respond to rejection says everything about who you are becoming. Do you crumble or do you build? Do you chase what one legged away, or do you trust what's still meant for you? When you choose to rise after rejection, you become unshakable. Because once you've been told you're not enough and still kept going, the world no longer has the power to define you. Every rejection becomes armor. Every closed door becomes preparation. Every setback becomes the story of your comeback. And that's how you transform pain into purpose. So the next time rejection comes, and it will, don't resist it. Don't beg for it to change its mind. Stand tall, take a deep breath, and remind yourself this is not loss, this is direction. Life doesn't take from you. It clears your path. It removes distractions, misalignments, illusions, all the things that don't serve your highest good. Every rejection is a test of faith. Will you trust that what's meant for you cannot miss you? Will you keep your head high even when the world says no? Because the people who rise the highest aren't the ones who never fall. They are the ones who never stay down. Rejection doesn't define your value. It reveals your vision. The job that didn't call you back, the friend who ghosted you, the love that chose someone else, they don't hold your worth, you do. The moment you accept that, you stop giving the world permission to make you feel small. You stop asking for validation you already own. You start living with the quiet confidence of someone who knows what's meant for me will recognize me. I don't need to chase. I don't need to prove. I don't need to beg. I just need to keep becoming. Because the right opportunities don't need convincing. They need readiness. So take your rejection, hold it close and thank it. Thank it for redirecting your energy. Thank it for showing you what's not aligned. Thank it for reminding you that you can survive the sting and still rise with grace. Because when you stop seeing rejection as failure and start seeing it as refinement, your whole life shifts. You stop walking in fear and you start walking in faith. You stop craving acceptance and you start commanding respect. And that's when the world starts to meet you at your level, not the other way around. Always rejection is not your enemy. It's your awakening. It's the moment life strips away what's not for you so you can finally step into what is. Don't beg for what's leaving. Don't chase what's fading. Accept it, own it, rise from it. And remember, rejection doesn't diminish your worth. It reveals it. There is something deeply powerful about a person who knows when not to beg. Someone who can look at loss, disappointment, or rejection and still refuse to lower their standards just to be accepted. Begging doesn't just diminish your dignity, it drains your soul. It teaches the world how to treat you. The moment you start begging for love, attention, or validation, you send a silent message, my worth depends on you. But it doesn't, it never has. Begging is the language of fear. It's the belief that without someone else's approval you cease to matter. You have to unlearn that lie. Because the truth is, real power begins when you decide to stop pleading for what was never yours to keep. People beg when they forget who they are. They beg when they think they have to prove their value to be loved, hired, accepted, or seen. But think about this. You are the same person before they rejected you, before they ignored you, before they undervalued you. Their decision doesn't erase your brilliance. It doesn't cancel your beauty. It doesn't undo your effort, your kindness, or your potential. You don't beg to be understood. You don't chase to be noticed. You stand where you are and let the world catch up. Because begging for space in someone's life means you've forgotten that you can create your own. And the moment you realize that, truly realize it, begging no longer feels like survival. It feels like surrender. When you beg, you give away your power piece by piece. You hand over control to people who haven't earned the right to hold it. You let them dictate your emotions, your self-esteem, your peace. And that's a dangerous trade, because once you give your power away, it's hard to take it back. But you can. You always can. The moment you decide to stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you, something inside you shifts. You start walking differently, speaking differently, choosing differently. You stop chasing what doesn't choose you. You start realizing that silence can speak louder than any desperate word. You don't need to beg for closure. Walking away, easy closure. There's strength in restraint. There's power in the pause. When you stop begging, you start commanding. Your energy changes from seeking to standing. You no longer approach life from a place of lack. You move from abundance, from clarity, from confidence. You begin to understand that begging for someone to see your worth is like holding a crown in your hands and asking someone else to tell you if it's real. You already know it is. So wear it, don't lower it for anyone. Because the truth is, the more you beg, the smaller you become in your own eyes. And once you shrink yourself, the world will too. Never let desperation rewrite your story. You don't need to beg for opportunities. You need to build them. You don't need to beg for attention. You need to embody our presence. The reason people beg is because they confuse patience with pleading. They think waiting means accepting crumbs. But patience doesn't mean tolerating disrespect. It doesn't mean allowing yourself to be overlooked, spoken over, or taken for granted. Patience is fear. Patience says, I know my moment will come. Begging says, please give me yours. When you operate from faith, you understand that what's meant for you cannot be withheld by anyone. So you stop chasing, you stop belong to you. The opportunities, the relationships, the peace, the success, they don't require chasing. They require becoming. What's meant for you won't need to be hunted down. It will recognize you when you're ready. The only thing you should ever be chasing is your own growth, your own evolution, your own greatness. Everything else will find its way. When you chase, you shift your energy from confidence to scarcity. You stop being the chooser and start becoming the follower. You forget your own power. You start measuring your worth by how close you can get to something or someone else, instead of remembering that what you have to offer is already enough. Chasing is the illusion that control equals security. You think if you hold on tight enough, call enough times, prove enough points, show enough love, they'll stay. But the harder you grip, the faster things slip. The truth is, what's meant to stay will stay without force, and what's meant to go will go, no matter how hard you hold on. Chasing drains your spirit because it's rooted in fear. The fear of loss, of being left behind, of being forgotten. But you can't outrun loss, and you can't beg someone to remember your worth. You can only remember it yourself. Oh, rise into it. You don't need to chase what's divinely aligned. You need to prepare for it. When you evolve, your frequency shifts, and suddenly the things you were chasing starts chasing you. You no longer move from fear of missing out. You move from faith in your own timing. And that's how you win. Not by running after what's gone, but by standing still in your worth until what's meant for you finds you. I say stop chasing people. Stop chasing approval. Stop chasing outcomes. Because the truth is, what's yours can't run from you. And what runs was never meant to stay. Chasing is for the uncertain. Alignment is for the powerful. You don't attract by chasing. You attract by becoming. He becomes so rooted, so centered, so confident in who you are, that what's meant for you has no choice but to find you. The chase ends when you remember this. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not lacking. You are simply preparing. And when you stop chasing, the right things finally have the space to catch you. Knowing your worth is not arrogance. It's awareness. It's the moment you stop waiting for someone else to tell you you're enough and finally decide to believe it yourself. The world will always test your sense of value. People will underestimate you, opportunities will overlook you, and situations will try to convince you to settle for less. But knowing your worth means refusing to accept discounts on your destiny. It means standing tall even when you're surrounded by doubt. Because the truth is, people can only treat you at the level you treat yourself. If you carry yourself like a bargain, they'll handle you like one. But when you carry yourself like a standard, the world adjusts. You don't need to scream your worth. You just need to know it so deeply that silence speaks for you. The moment you realize your worth, everything in your life begins to shift. The conversations you entertain change. The people you allow close change. The standards you accept change. You stop explaining your boundaries as if they're negotiable. You stop apologizing for taking up space. You stop saying sorry for being ambitious, confident, or different. Knowing your worth means you no longer need to justify your greatness. You simply embody it. Because real confidence isn't loud. It's quiet. It's calm. It's the steady knowing that you belong, that you're enough, that your presence carries value even when no one validates it. You stop looking outward for permission and you start looking inward for proof. And the proof is everywhere. In your resilience, in your growth, in the fact that you're still standing despite everything meant to break you. The reason so many people struggle to know their worth is because they've been taught to seek validation externally. Since childhood, we've been trained to chase approval. From parents, teachers, bosses, lovers, society, we were conditioned to believe that worth must be earned. But you were born worthy before you achieved anything, before you failed at anything, before you proved anything. You were already enough. That's what you have to reclaim. Knowing your worth isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. You're not valuable because someone loves you. You're not worthy because someone hires you. You're valuable because you exist, because you bring something to the world that no one else can replicate. The day you stop trying to prove your worth and start living from it, you become untouchable. Because no one can take what you never gave them power over. When you know your worth, rejection no longer destroys you. You stop seeing a no as a personal attack and start seeing it as protection. Because when you know your value, you understand that being overlooked doesn't mean being undeserving. Sometimes life closes doors because you're thinking too small. Sometimes people walk away because they can't handle your light. Sometimes opportunities pass you by because they weren't in to match your potential. When you know your worth, you stop chasing what doesn't choose you. You stop trying to fit into spaces that don't respect you. You learn to stand still and let the right ones recognize your energy. That's not ego, that's clarity. And clarity is power. Knowing your worth also means setting boundaries without guilt. It means saying no without explanation and walking away without resentment. People who don't know their worth stay in places that drain them, simply because they're afraid of being alone. But solitude is not punishment. It's preparation. It's the sacred space where you remember who you are. You have to be brave enough to let go of things that don't align with your peace. Because anything that costs you your self-respect is too expensive. When you stop accepting crumbs, you make space for the feast. When you stop chasing attention, you start attracting respect. You realize that you don't owe anyone access to you just because they ask for it. You decide that your time, your heart, your energy, those are privileges, not entitlements. And once you know your worth, you move differently, you speak differently, you love differently. You no longer need to prove yourself to anyone. You let your presence speak. You stop competing because you understand that what's yours has no rival. You stop settling because you finally believe you deserve more. The world starts to respond to you in new ways because your energy has changed. You no longer walk into rooms seeking to be accepted. You walk in already belonging. And when life tests you, as it always will, you don't crumble. You remind yourself that no rejection, no insult, no loss can diminish what's already built within you. That's the unshakable power of knowing your worth. It grounds you when everything else feels uncertain. You also know this. You are not defined by what you have, who loves you, or what title you hold. You are defined by what you believe about yourself when no one is watching. Stop shrinking for comfort. Stop begging for validation. Stop forgetting your own magic. You are not a bargain to be negotiated. You are the full price and you set the value. Know your worth, protect it fiercely, and never again let anyone convince you that you're anything less than extraordinary. Because when you truly know your worth, you stop chasing acceptance and start commanding respect. And that changes everything. Choosing yourself. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest, most courageous things you'll ever do. Because the world has trained you to choose everything about yourself. To choose approval over peace. To choose relationships over self-respect. To choose comfort over growth. We're taught that self-sacrifice equals love. That people will value us more if we put them first every time. But choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's sacred. It's the moment you stop abandoning yourself to make others comfortable. It's the moment you stop dimming your light so someone else can shine brighter. Choosing yourself doesn't mean you don't care. It means you finally care enough to protect your sanity, your dreams, and your worth. You cannot pour into anyone if you are constantly emptying yourself just to be accepted. The truth is, choosing yourself often means disappointing others, and that's okay. You will lose people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. You will outgrow places that were comfortable but uninspiring. You will walk away from conversations that drain your energy, from relationships that require you to beg for basic respect. And when you do, people might call you distant, selfish, or cold. Let them, because the same people who call you selfish for choosing yourself are the ones who thrived when you didn't. Growth will always be misunderstood by those committed to your smaller version. You can't carry everyone with you. Not everyone was built to go where you're going. Choosing yourself means accepting that solitude. Youth may come before success, silence before peace, and loneliness before alignment. But those moments are not punishments, they are purification. When you choose yourself, you take back control of your story. You stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to start living. You no longer beg for opportunities, you create them. You stop settling for love that drains you and start becoming the kind of person who attracts love that heals you. You stop apologizing for your ambition, your confidence, your boundaries. You begin to honor your time as sacred, your mind as valuable, and your heart as powerful. When you choose yourself, you no longer shrink in rooms where your brilliance makes others uncomfortable. You shine anyway, because choosing yourself isn't about arrogance, it's about alignment. It's about remembering that your life is your responsibility. No one's coming to save you, but you can save yourself, and that's power. But let's be honest, choosing yourself hurts at first. It hurts to walk away from people you love. It hurts to close doors that once felt like home. It hurts to stop saying yes when your heart still wants to please everyone. Because self-worth and self-love aren't built in comfort. They're forged in pain. You will doubt yourself. You will question your decisions. You'll wonder if you made a mistake. But then one day, you'll wake up and realize you feel lighter, calmer, stronger. You'll realize that peace feels better than approval, that alignment feels better than validation. You'll stop feeling guilty for saying no and start feeling powerful for saying yes to yourself. That's the transformation. That's the moment you realize that protecting your peace is not betrayal, it's maturity. Choosing yourself also means setting standards and refusing to lower them. It means understanding that love should never cost you your dignity, that success should never require you to compromise your values, that friendship should never demand your silence. When you choose yourself, you start to see through the illusions. You recognize manipulation disguised as love, guilt disguised as loyalty, and obligation disguised as care. You stop giving access to people who only show up when they need something. You stop seeking validation from people who can't even validate themselves. And instead of trying to fit into their world, you build your own. You create space where your energy is valued, your voice is heard, and your boundaries are respected. Because when you choose yourself, you become unavailable to anything that doesn't align with your peace. And here's the beauty of it all. When you choose yourself, life starts to choose you back. The right people, the right opportunities, the right energy, they all start showing up. Because the moment you stop begging for things not meant for you, the universe starts delivering what yes are meant for you. You start attracting people who match your frequency, not your fear. You start finding peace in your solitude. You stop chasing and start receiving. You realize that choosing yourself was never about isolation, it was about alignment. It's about coming home to your own strength, your own truth, your own worth. And once you've tasted that kind of freedom, you'll never go back to the version of you that thought survival meant self-abandonment. So choose yourself. Choose yourself every single time. When it's hard, when it's lonely, when it's misunderstood, choose yourself. Because no one else can live this life for you. Stop waiting for someone to see your value before you believe it. Stop pouring into people who only drain you. Stop sacrificing your peace to prove your loyalty. You are not selfish for protecting your energy. You are wise for preserving it. The world will tell you to be selfless, but remember this truth: you cannot be selfless until you first learn to be yourself-full. So stand tall, set your boundaries, and choose yourself unapologetically. Be. Because the moment you do, the universe rearranges itself to meet you where you finally decided to belong, in your own power. Protecting your energy is not just about cutting people off. It's about understanding that your peace is sacred. Every thought you entertain, every person you allow close, every environment you step into either feeds your energy or drains it. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life. You stop chasing validation, and you start vibrating at the level of self-respect. And from that level, you only attract what aligns. Everything that disrupts your peace will start to feel foreign, uncomfortable, impossible to tolerate, because it no longer matches your vibration. And that's when you truly understand the power of protecting your energy. It's not about isolation, it's about elevation. It's about choosing peace over popularity, presence over performance, and alignment over attachment. Protecting your energy allows you to rise above the noise, to see clearly, to live intentionally. It teaches you that saying no is not rejection, it's redirection. It's how you tell the universe, I'm ready for more, but I'll no longer accept less. You start to realize that protecting your energy is how you protect your destiny. Because your dreams need your focus, your goals need your clarity, your future needs your strength. And you can't give any of that if you're constantly drained, distracted, or depleted. Protect your energy fiercely because everything meaningful in your life depends on it. But to so protect your energy, guard it like the treasure it can rise again every single time. Because belief isn't born in comfort, it's born in challenge. It's the courage to say, even if I have nothing left but faith, I'll still move forward. The world can doubt you all it wants. As long as you don't start doubting yourself, you remain unstoppable. When you truly believe in yourself, you start walking differently. You stop chasing things that don't align with your purpose. You stop seeking approval from people who can't even see your potential. You begin to move with intention, not insecurity. You realize that you don't need to be the loudest in the room to make an impact. You just need to be consistent, grounded, and true. Because self-belief doesn't scream for attention, it radiates assurance. It's a calm strength that says, I know who I am, I know what I bring, and I know where I'm going. When you believe in yourself, failure doesn't end you, it educates you. Rejection doesn't break you, it redirects you. Every loss becomes preparation for something greater. That's the power of belief. It transforms obstacles into opportunities and pain into purpose. Self-belief is also what protects you from comparison, the silent killer of joy. Because when you're rooted in who you are, you stop measuring your progress against anyone else's. You stop scrolling through someone else's success and asking, why not me? Instead, you start saying, if they can, so can I. Self-belief frees you from the illusion that you need to compete to matter. It allows you to move at your own pace, in your own way, with your own grace. You start trusting your process, even when it's slow, even when no one's clapping. You realize that not being seen doesn't mean you're not progressing. The seed doesn't question its growth just because it's underground. Self-belief is knowing that your time is coming, and when it does, nothing can stop it. And here's the truth most people miss. Self-belief is not arrogance, it's alignment. It's the difference between saying, I'm better than you, and saying, I'm better than I was. It's about knowing your worth without needing to prove it. It's about showing up every day with discipline, with courage, with consistency, even when you're scared, even when no one's watching. When you have self-belief, you become your own backbone. You start trusting your decisions, respecting your effort, honoring your journey. You stop looking for heroes. because you realize you are one. And once you reach that level of self-trust, life bends in your favor. Doors open, opportunities appear, and the world responds to your certainty. Because belief is energy, and whatever you believe about yourself, the universe will echo back to you tenfold. Also believe in yourself, fiercely, unapologetically, relentlessly. Believe in yourself when you win and when you fall. Believe in yourself when no one claps, when no one calls, when no one sees, because the moment you choose to believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. Self-belief is not a gift you're given. It's a decision you make every single day. The world will doubt, people will leave, and things will fall apart. But if you keep believing, you will always rebuild. Trust your power, trust your purpose, trust your path. Because the one who believes in themselves doesn't just survive, they rise, they conquer, they transform. And that, right there, is how you turn your belief into destiny. Forgiveness, it's one of the most misunderstood acts of strength in the human experience. People often think forgiveness means excusing what someone did, forgetting the pain they caused, or pretending it didn't matter. But that's not forgiveness. That's denial. True forgiveness is something deeper, quieter, and far more powerful. It's the moment you decide to free yourself from the weight of what hurt you. It's saying, this pain no longer gets to control me. A forgiveness doesn't mean they were right. It means you're ready to move on without needing an apology that may never come. Because sometimes the people who hurt you will never understand what they took from you. They'll never admit what they did. And waiting for that moment keeps you chained to their energy. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's the act of cutting emotional cords so your spirit can finally breathe again. When you refuse to forgive, you carry your pain like armor, thinking it protects you, but it actually poisons you. Anger, resentment, and bitterness don't hurt the people who wronged you. They hurt you. They keep you reliving the same wound, the same moment over and over again. Every time you replay what happened, you reopen the cut. Every time you wish things had gone differently, you give the past power over your present. Forgiveness doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough about yourself to stop suffering. Because when you hold on to resentment, it seeps into everything. Your thoughts, your energy, your relationships. You start expecting betrayal where there is loyalty, seeing rejection where there is love. But when you forgive, you clear that fog. You reclaim your clarity. You start to see life as it is, not through the lens of pain, but through the eyes of peace. Forgiveness is not weakness, it's emotional maturity. It's choosing peace when revenge feels easier. It's taking back control from the person or event that once controlled your emotions. It's saying, you no longer get to occupy space in my mind rent-free. The strength it takes to forgive is not passive. It's revolutionary. Because it's easy to stay angry. It's easy to blame. It's easy to hold grudges and pretend you don't care. But it takes courage to face your pain, process it and release it. Forgiveness is for the brave. Those who choose freedom over pride, healing over bitterness. It's the decision to stop bleeding on people who didn't cut you. It's the decision to stop letting your past dictate your peace. The power of forgiveness lies in understanding that you cannot change the past, but you can change how much of your future you allow it to steal. And here's the truth. Forgiveness is not always immediate. It's a process. Sometimes you'll think you've forgiven someone, and then a memory, a word, or a song will reopen the wound. That doesn't mean you failed. It means you're still healing. Forgiveness happens in layers, just like pain does. Some days, it's a choice you'll have to make over and over again. You'll wake up and decide, I will not let this define me today. Some days you'll succeed, some days you'll stumble, but every time you choose peace over resentment, you reclaim another piece of your power. Healing doesn't follow a timeline, it follows intention. Forgiveness isn't about pretending the hurt never happened. It's about ensuring it doesn't happen to you internally again and again. It's a declaration that your future matters more than your pain. Forgiving others is hard, but forgiving yourself That's even harder. Because sometimes the person we need to forgive the most is the one in the mirror. We replay our mistakes, our regrets, our failures, convincing ourselves we don't deserve peace. We hold ourselves hostage to past versions of who we used to be. But you are not the same person you were when you made those choices. You have grown, you have learned, you have survived. Forgiving yourself means allowing yourself to evolve. It means acknowledging that you did the best you could with the awareness you had at that time. You can't heal while hating yourself for being human. Forgiveness of self is how you stop being your own prisoner. It's how you turn guilt into growth and shame into wisdom. Because once you learn to forgive yourself, you stop letting your past define your future and start letting it refine your soul. And when you finally forgive, truly forgive, something shifts. The weight lifts, the noise quiets. You start sleeping better, breathing seer, thinking clearer. You stop expecting closure from others because you've already given it to yourself. You stop waiting for people to fix what they broke because you've built something stronger in its place. Peace. Forgiveness doesn't erase your story. It rewrites your ending. It turns pain into perspective, heartbreak into healing, and anger into understanding. You begin to thank your past for the lessons, not resent it for the wounds. And that's when you realize forgiveness isn't about losing power. It's about reclaiming it. You're no longer reacting from pain. You're responding from purpose. That's what freedom feels like. A true soul forgive, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Forgive because your heart deserves peace more than your ego deserves justice. Forgive because holding on keeps you stuck in a story you've already outgrown. Let go of the bitterness, the anger, the need to be right. None of it serves you anymore. Forgive others, forgive yourself, free yourself from the prison of pain you were never meant to live in. Because forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It's remembering that it no longer has power over you. And when you finally forgive, you don't just heal the past, you open the door to everything beautiful that's waiting for you beyond it.